Ever catch yourself daydreaming about a career on the open ocean? Maybe even taking the helm as a deck officer. I know I have. There's just something so captivating about a life at sea. But what does it really take to command a ship? Navigate by the stars, handle whatever the ocean throws your way? We're about to find out. You've shared some fascinating RoleCatcher research on deck officers.
Yeah, I'm ready to set sail. We've got charts, compasses, and even some AI-powered insights to guide us.
Perfect. So I think most people, myself included, we kind of have this, I don't know, like a romanticized view of a deck officer,
Mhm.
standing on the bridge in a crisp uniform, charting a course across a calm blue ocean.
Right.
But I have a feeling the reality is a bit more
Dynamic.
dynamic. There we go.
It's
Dynamic.
more dynamic, yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. This role catcher career guide deck officer kind of hints at this. What are some of the less obvious, maybe even crucial aspects of a job like this?
Well, you're responsible for the safe navigation of a vessel that could be carrying millions of dollars worth of cargo, sometimes through really treacherous waters. You're managing a crew, ensuring safety protocols are followed, and making critical decisions often under intense pressure. It's a role that demands exceptional leadership, meticulous attention to detail, and a unique ability to stay calm amidst chaos.
So it's almost like being an air traffic controller, a project manager, and a crisis management expert all rolled into one.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. You're juggling multiple tasks, coordinating with various departments, and constantly adapting to changing conditions. One minute you might be overseeing cargo loading, the next you're analyzing weather patterns or dealing with a technical issue on deck.
Wow. And speaking of being on your toes, I imagine the working conditions can be, well, let's just say, less than glamorous at times. I'm picturing towering waves, maybe a rogue kraken or two.
Yeah, let's just say you won't find many deck chairs or umbrella drinks on a cargo ship during a storm.
Right.
The career guide definitely doesn't shy away from the realities of the job.
Right.
Long hours, extended periods away from home, and a unique work environment that really requires a certain level of, I would say, resilience.
Resilience, yeah. It sounds like a strong stomach and a taste for adventure are non-negotiables. But for those who are cut out for it, I imagine the perks are pretty incredible. I mean, how many jobs let you travel the world, experience different cultures firsthand, not to mention you get a pretty amazing office view.
Definitely, the opportunity to witness breathtaking sunrises, navigate through starlit skies, and visit those far-flung corners of the world, that's definitely a major draw for many. There's a sense of adventure, a connection to the natural world that's really hard to find elsewhere.
Yeah, it sounds like it takes a special kind of person to thrive in that environment.
Huh.
But let's talk about the career path itself. The career guide outlines a pretty clear progression, starting with a deck cadet. What does that initial stage look like?
Think of a decadet as an apprentice, learning the ropes, both literally and figuratively. They're gaining that hands-on experience in all aspects of ship operations, from watchkeeping and navigation to cargo handling and safety procedures, essentially building a solid foundation for a successful career at sea.
So you're starting out maybe a little unsure of which line is which, but eager to absorb everything you can from the more seasoned officers.
Exactly, and as they gain that experience and demonstrate their competence, they climb the ranks, and they take on more responsibility with each step.
Okay, so if we're charting our course through this career path, let's say you've mastered those initial skills as a deck cadet. What's the next step up the ladder?
That would be the role of a junior deck officer. They're starting to conduct watch duties independently, becoming proficient in using navigational charts and equipment, even supervising some of the newer cadets. It's a significant step up in terms of responsibility and decision-making.
And I'm guessing the learning never really stops in a field like this. I mean, technology is constantly evolving, and there are always new challenges to navigate, both literally and figuratively.
You're absolutely right. Continuous professional development is essential. We're talking about obtaining specific certifications, like the Electronic Chart Display and Information System, or ECDIS, as well as staying up to date on the latest maritime regulations and best practices.
So it's not just about knowing how to tie a bowline knot, although I'm sure that's still a valuable skill. You need to be adaptable, tech savvy, and always willing to expand your knowledge base.
Precisely. And that brings us to another crucial aspect of being a deck officer: leadership. Because as you progress through the ranks, you're not just responsible for your own tasks, you're leading a team.
That's right. It's one thing to navigate a ship, it's another entirely to navigate the complexities of managing a crew, especially in those high-pressure situations.
Exactly, and that's something we can delve into a bit deeper.
Okay, I'm hooked. Let's navigate our way over to that. But first, a quick message.
As we were saying at deck officer's job, it's about so much more than just, the technical expertise.
Right.
It's about leadership, in its truest form.
You're navigating not just the ship, but the crew as well. And I imagine that comes with its own unique set of challenges, especially, that isolated and often high-stress environment when you're out at sea.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. The career guide touches on this, highlighting the importance of teamwork, communication, and conflict resolution skills.
Right.
It's about building trust and rapport with your crew, motivating them to perform at their best, and maintaining that sense of camaraderie even when facing adversity.
So it's about being more than just a captain. It's about being a leader, a mentor, even a counselor at times.
Absolutely. You're responsible for the well-being of your crew,
Right.
both physically and mentally.
Wow.
You need to be able to recognize signs of stress or fatigue, address conflicts, fairly and effectively, and just create a positive and supportive onboard environment.
Yeah.
It's demanding, but also incredibly rewarding.
I bet those leadership skills really come into play during emergency situations, too. When you're facing a raging storm or a technical malfunction at sea,
Oh, absolutely.
there's not much room for hesitation or uncertainty.
You're right. In those critical moments, a deck officer's leadership can make all the difference.
Right.
It's about staying calm under pressure, assessing the situation quickly, making those decisive choices, and clearly communicating instructions to the crew. It's a true test of character and a testament to the level of responsibility entrusted to them.
It takes a certain kind of person to handle that level of pressure with composure. Speaking of which, I'm curious about the interview process. What specific qualities do you think employers are looking for when they're looking to hire a deck officer?
Well, beyond those, technical qualifications, they're really looking for individuals who embody those core leadership qualities. Decisiveness, composure, communication skills, a knack for problem solving under pressure. They want someone who can not only handle the technical aspects of the job, but also inspire confidence in their crew and make sound judgments in the face of uncertainty.
So it sounds like they're looking for, a rare breed, someone who's both technically skilled and a natural leader, which is, no easy feat.
Right.
And the RoleCatcher Ace Your Interviews excerpts that you shared actually does a really good job of highlighting the importance of interview preparation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to possess those qualities, but you also need to be able to articulate them effectively during an interview. And that's where RoleCatcher's resources are incredibly valuable.
I was particularly impressed by their database of over 120,000 interview questions, tailored to specific roles, so it's not just generic advice, it's very targeted preparation, which I imagine is crucial in a field as specialized as this.
It makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to walk into an interview, feeling prepared for anything they might throw at you, from technical questions about ECDIS navigation to behavioral questions about how you've handled conflict in the past.
It's like having a secret weapon. Well, in this case, a secret weaponized database of maritime knowledge and interview savvy.
Exactly.
I like it.
And it's not just about, memorizing answers. It's about understanding what those questions are really assessing. For example, if an interviewer asks about a time you had to make a difficult decision at sea, they're not just looking for a story. They're looking for insights into your thought process, your leadership style, your ability to weigh risks and make those tough calls under pressure.
So it's about showcasing those intangible qualities, the quick thinking, the adaptability, the ability to stay calm amidst the storm, that really make a great deck officer.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that brings us to an interesting point. We've talked a lot about the skills, the qualifications needed to succeed in this field, but there's another element that's, harder to define,
Okay.
but equally important.
I have a feeling I know where you're going with this. You're about to talk about passion.
You read my mind, because while the technical expertise and a strong CV are important, what truly sets a deck officer apart is a genuine passion for the sea.
Okay.
That deep-seated love for the ocean, the sense of adventure, the understanding that this isn't just a job, it's a way of life.
It's about feeling that call of the open water, that irresistible pull towards a career that's as challenging as it is rewarding.
And that passion, it shines through.
Right.
Not just in your words, but in your actions, in your dedication to the job and your willingness to go the extra nautical mile.
Speaking of going the extra nautical mile, we've covered a lot of ground in our exploration of the deck officer's world.
We have.
But let's switch gears for a moment and talk about something a little more practical. How does someone even begin to pursue this career path?
Well, that's where the beauty of RoleCatcher's resources, like the career guide, really shines.
Okay.
Remember those links to external organizations we mentioned earlier?
You mean those links to maritime academies, training programs, and, various maritime authorities? The ones with the names I can barely pronounce, let alone spell?
Precisely.
Okay.
Those links aren't just there for show. Those are your gateway to a wealth of information and resources that can help you take those first, tangible steps toward a maritime career. Yeah.
So it's like RoleCatcher is providing the map, the compass, even the life vest, and saying, all right, you're ready to navigate your own course now.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of connecting with those external organizations. They can provide valuable insights into different career paths, specialized training programs, even potential job opportunities.
It's about being proactive, taking initiative, and showing those potential employers that you're not just dreaming about this life at sea, but you're actively charting a course to get there.
And that enthusiasm, that proactive spirit, that can make all the difference when it comes to standing out in a competitive field like this.
So we've talked about the challenges, the skills, the importance of leadership, that essential spark of passion, and even where to find those all-important resources.
Right.
But before we wrap up our deep dive into the world of a deck officer, I'm curious.
Yeah. What's one piece of advice you would give to someone who's, seriously considering this career path?
That's a great question. I think the most important thing is to fully embrace the journey.
Okay.
It's not always going to be smooth sailing. There will be long hours, tough decisions, and times when you're tested, both physically and mentally. But if you approach those challenges with a positive attitude, a willingness to learn, and that unwavering passion for the sea, it can be an incredibly rewarding and fulfilling career.
It sounds like it's not just a job, it's a lifestyle choice,
Hmm.
one that requires a certain level of dedication, resilience, and just a deep-seated love for the ocean and all its wonders.
Exactly. And for those who are willing to embrace that lifestyle, the rewards are immeasurable.
And on that note, I think that's a perfect place to end part two.
I agree. We'll be back in a moment with part 3 after a quick message. We've charted a course through the world of the deck officer, from those early days as a deck cadet to, the leadership demands of commanding a crew. But for our listeners who are, well, ready to trade their landlocked lives for a career on the open ocean, I'm curious,
Yeah.
what kind of vessel captures your imagination?
That's a fantastic question to consider. It's easy to get swept up in the overall idea of a life at sea, but the type of vessel you find yourself on truly shapes the experience. Are you drawn to the intricate jants of a container ship navigating those busy shipping lanes? Or perhaps the raw power of a tanker battling through icy waters? Maybe it's the scientific exploration of a research vessel uncovering the ocean's mysteries.
I can already feel my sense of adventure kicking in just hearing you describe those. And I imagine each type of vessel comes with its own unique challenges and rewards.
Absolutely. Each voyage is different, each cargo holds its own complexities, and the waters you navigate can be as varied as the ports you visit. It's this constant evolution and diversity of experience that keeps life at sea from ever becoming mundane.
I love how the RoleCatcher career guide we've been exploring, it doesn't just, lay out the career path, but it also provides those really valuable links to organizations like the International Maritime Organization, various maritime academies.
Right.
It's like they're giving our listeners the tools to not just dream about this career, but to actually start taking those first concrete steps.
It's all about turning that initial spark of inspiration into real-world action. Those links are a fantastic resource for anyone who's serious about pursuing a maritime career. They can research different training programs, they can connect with experienced professionals in the field, and start gathering that knowledge and those qualifications needed
Yeah.
to, really set sail on their own terms.
So to our listeners who are feeling that pull towards a life at sea, a life filled with adventure, challenge, and a really unique connection to the world's oceans, I think the message is clear. Dive into those resources, chart your own course, and set sail on that incredible journey. And who knows, maybe one day we'll have you back here on the deep dive sharing your own stories from the open ocean.
I would love that.
That's going to be it for today's deep dive, but be sure to check back next time when we'll be exploring another fascinating career path. Until then, thanks for listening.